Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 128 of the Sonic Movie Show, the only show that's about Sonic news, movie news, and Sonic movie news. My name is Ethan, and with me here today to verb from noun is Devin.
Hey, boys. Bad idea.
I don't remember what scene that's from, but I'm pretty sure I know who said it. I'm pretty sure that is Alice, the hero of the Resident Evil movies. Am I correct there? Is that what she said?
Yes. Yeah, Alice says this, I think, at one... when her and another character do a thing that kills two bad guys.
Oh, now I actually know. Yes.
That's the best spoiler-free... Not that like it really matters about spoilers, but like...
This movie, Devin, is 10 years old. This came out in 2012.
Great year.
Yeah, this came out in 2012. A few months. I don't know the exact like release dates or box office dates or whatever. Before Silent Hill Revelation, the movie we watched earlier, and also a CG Resident Evil film called Damnation. So this was like horror game fans were eating good this year in terms of representation on the silver screen.
Good in 2012. Before the world ended.
That's true. That's right. Remember there was a 2012 movie?
Yeah, that came
like
out
really
a couple years before that, before 2012.
What did it?
Or was it the same year? I don't know.
I thought it was in 2012.
I just remember that movie, like, I remember like thinking about it like after the fact when I got older. I haven't seen the movie in a long time, but I remember thinking about it later. I'm like, oh, all the rich people like survive in that movie. And I'm like, no, that's what would happen if like all of a sudden the world's flooding at like a exponential rate. Like I'm sure they already had something. They have an ark in Antarctica or whatever the fuck they had in that movie.
How crazy is it that this whole thing is predicated on the fact that the Mayans decided to stop counting past the year 2012? Like, those motherfuckers were not going to be alive then, so they're like, this is far enough. We'll make a new calendar when we get there.
I just imagine it's like, like it's they had a big agenda. They're like, okay, I want to make sure we do laundry on time and do all these things on time. Bro, don't you think it's a little excessive that we're doing to 2012? Well, I'm just trying to help the guy out in the future, which is cool. Shout out to them for helping the people out in the future.
Not thinking ahead, realizing that they could probably make a better calendar in the future.
I just think that like they're just going to wait until couple years go by to add more to the calendar, but unfortunately white people happened.
It's true. And then J.K. Rowling happened years later to really fuck everyone over. I just
it's like
people,
the third episode in a row we just chat on J.K. Rowling.
When we do another episode about the Sonic movie 2's like success or whatever, I'd 100% want to title the episode, and we won't end up doing this, Sonic defeats Turf's
Sonic
Joanna or something like that.
Kills Harry Potter.
No, but you think about like, I feel like the 2012 situation became a thing because people were like, oh my god, ancient humans were like, they're somehow like galaxy brained. Somehow they're like that they built the pyramids with their hands. It's like, yeah, and it took them like a decade to make one, maybe even longer, and they had nothing to do but own other people and tell them to do something. There's no video games to play. But what else are they going to do besides build a giant pile of cubes?
People also just can't think of the fact that if non-white people could figure out how to build architecture, like that's the other issue, is that like they're like, there's no way they could have built this. It had to be in aliens. It's like, no, like
they don't have any nails or planks of wood.
It's like, yeah, maybe
well, let alone horses.
It's like it just maybe they figured out something else. Like,
right. Like, what's the thought process on how you got to the point where you realized you can build something in a certain way? Now, once you walk all the way back to the beginning when you didn't know what to do, take a look at your surroundings and your environment and your culture, and then maybe you'll walk in a different direction and you'll still make something interesting.
Maybe
now,
living in a
who's
desert
to say,
is different from living in like a big foresty region.
Or the Mediterranean. You know what I mean? When you're just able to just sit on a little tiny canoe and just float in the sea where all the olives and all of the whatever the fuck the Mediterranean people eat. All that stuff. The Greeks, they didn't have a Zeus to make it. Their gods hated them in Egypt. They had to make do.
I find it interesting that like just like the Catholic God, that they also had gods that just hated people.
Right.
But you gotta be afraid of them.
Yeah, the idea of a God-fearing person makes you good. It's like, man, this sucks. I'm gonna get stepped on if I don't worship correctly. We watched Resident Evil Retribution. is 96 minutes long. This film, so I'm gonna ask you what you think the box office was. And I know I've said it in a previous episode, but this was like a whole bunch of video game movies ago. First Resident Evil movie, released in 2002,
great,
which is 4 minutes longer than this one. $102.9 million box office. Next, Resident Evil Apocalypse 2004, 93 minutes, $129.3 million. So we're like a 20-something million more. Next up, Resident Evil Extinction 2007, 94 minutes, really close to the length of time this one is. $148.4 million, so we're up another 20-ish. Next up, Resident Evil Afterlife 2010, 97 minutes. It's a good amount of time. 300 million.
Insane.
So we doubled. Doubled. How much do you think this one made?
Man, 2012. And like you said, there was a heavy market for video game horror movies. Horror video game movies, I guess I should say. I don't know if they'll be able to hit 300 again. I'm gonna say like 250.
Very close. $240 million.
Okay.
Still like
well,
maybe
they got 10 million in tips under the table.
Sure.
Paul W.S. Anderson got a $10 million tip under the table.
Did you say horror movies or horror? It's hard to tell.
Jesus Christ.
Paul W.S. Anderson was the director and writer on
our Lord
film.
And Savior. You either love him or hate him.
Or you acknowledge his existence as a filmmaker. I will say this.
He's in everything, I feel like. Every time we've done a video game movie, he's somehow
because he's one of those.
Yeah.
This is how I guarantee it is. We are studio Paramount. Well, actually, Paramount's a bad example because they made like the good Sonic movies. Or like let's say we're a different studio. Cool. We can buy this video game movie license for dirt fucking cheap because that game company doesn't really care all that much. Let's make a movie about it. Oh, what do we do? Oh, let's just ask the guy who makes them what he thinks. You know what I mean? I'll tell you this, though. I wish we never saw Monster Hunter. Because, well, number one, because it's a really bad movie. But the fact that it's a really bad movie makes me think like, oh, man, like these movies, these Retribution movies, we're getting better. They're getting more interesting, more respectful of the source material with what they have already set up, and more interesting and cooler. Like, this movie's better than Monster Hunter. That means at some point you said fuck it and just got worse. As the last of these movies, the next one that we're going to see eventually, final chapter, is this going to be terrible? You know what I mean? Like, and I know you and I have disagreed on almost every single one of these movies. We both like the first one, decent-ish. Yeah. It's very dated, very limited in what it's able to do, but it's interesting. Second one I liked, you hated. Maybe not. Maybe hate's a strong word.
Yeah, just
I was way more positive than you.
Wasn't vibing with it as much.
I don't know if what both of our opinions were on the third one. I think in that
we were just
episode.
Like, it was all right.
I think we were like, wait, why is it all of a sudden completely different in scope? I think we were maybe more befuddled by that. The fourth one, I was like, oh, I enjoyed this, and you didn't really care for it all that much. I enjoyed the opening at least. And now we're here on the fifth one, Retribution. And I will say this. When I was watching this movie was like, okay, so, and okay, actually,
first off, I didn't remember where we left off.
Exactly. I thought that the fourth one was the third one and the third one was the second. I'm like, wait, there's only 5. Oh, wait, I guess this. Yeah, okay, we did end up on a naval ship with all the people that were in their Hanes tees and undies, essentially, that were being used for something.
Yeah.
So the first movie, in a mansion, she realizes that she doesn't know who she is. Realizes she's head of security for Amazon or whatever. Leaves the mansion after being experimented on.
She's Jeff Bezos' daughter.
Exactly. She's in a street with a shotgun. Baby. Everything is shitty. It's like, okay, cool. Next one's going to be like Resident Evil 3 where, Jill Valentine's going through Raccoon City on the outside, not in like a mansion.
Nope.
Like the first one or whatever. It's like, nope. Instead, it's like this weird quarantine. We got to save the daughter of the scientist that made the T. Do you remember this? They are saving the daughter of the guy that made the T-virus.
We've seen them over the course of 2 years. They're all blending into my head.
They had to rescue the daughter of the guy who made the T virus because otherwise he wouldn't let them leave, or he was going to.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He was going to help them leave.
And that girl we never see again.
Exactly. End of that movie. Like it decides to end, and then it says, "Shit, we gotta set up another movie." Okay, she gets captured. Alice gets captured. Our main character gets captured, experimented on again. And her buds break her out. And that movie ends with her buds from the movie and the little girl. I don't know why she was rolling with them. She has a father that probably wants to, to see his daughter. Oh, no, maybe he died. It doesn't matter.
He died. He I think he got shot or something, whatever.
Probably because Nemesis. Remember Nemesis was in that fucking movie? Yeah, okay, cool. So our buds leave. They're like, okay, third movie, what are they going to do? It's Mad Max, but not interesting. Mm-hmm. All of those characters are gone. Now, granted, they popped back up. That little girl's gone.
She grew up. She went to college.
So it's like Mad Max, we're running resources. And it's like almost like The Walking Dead in the sense of like, we're a convoy, we're always on the move or whatever. She has Alice has superpowers now.
Which I still don't remember how that, like, I think that it was part of her testing is that they gave her powers.
They gave her the T virus and a super T virus because the T virus is supposed to make you super strong, 19. Not turn you into a zombie. Oh, this movie shows what the T virus looks like, and it's shaped like a fucking T.
I don't remember that.
It's like bubble font, a T with like goofy little veins sticking out.
That's how it works. Did you know it's actually a big bubble spelled out COVID. That's how COVID looks like. Yep.
There's no like receptors that eat in the nose.
Just
it's just got like tentacles.
It's just a word.
Whatever. Any case, that movie ends with her finding a secret laboratory and realizing there's a whole bunch of clones of her, and she wins the day, and she sets them all free, and she says, "We're gonna go fucking kill."
And then they all
Wesker
die
and all, and we're gonna go to Tokyo. And then that movie, the fourth one, opens up with the assault on Tokyo, and it's cool, but then they're just getting murked left and right, and it's kind of upsetting, but not trying to be. Like, unsettling to see, like,
don't worry about
your main heroine just get axed left and right, and then they all die but her, and she gets the T-virus taken out of her. Now she's just regular old Alice with shotguns full of quarters. Remember that? In that movie, and then it's just it's just a regular ass. It's a zombie movie, and we're trapped in a building.
Yeah.
What? And then that movie ends with that movie. Everyone's dead. There's just no one left.
Really? Yeah.
That's what they kind of like hit home. No one's left, and then we find a submarine that's full of people, and then this movie opens that way. So like I'm thinking like, man, like, what do they have left besides they don't have anything to work off of?
I feel like,
you know what I mean?
I don't know if this, like, I
went into this movie.
Paul W.S. Anderson had like a general idea, or, and I think I know now after watching this movie, which we'll talk about in a sec.
Okay.
I think he just has an idea and he's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to change the story to this because this seems cool.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised
like
if
other zombie movies. He's like, I want to do that.
Yes, I can easily see that.
He watched The Walking Dead when he did the third movie. He was watching because that's around the time the first season of Walking Dead came out, 2010. Yeah, so he watched the first season. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking do that. I don't care.
I've been making this before them, so I have the rights to do Walking Dead myself.
Because like I feel like this whole like series has been like, I want to do the Matrix without the Matrix. I want like that martial arts kind of actiony thing. I want a woman hero who's just a BA who can just
who's my wife,
who's also my wife. Yes, and I watch other movies and other zombie horror related things. I never played any of the games, and I'm just gonna. I don't think he's ever played any of the games, by the way. I fully believe he has writers.
Someone might have forced him to sit down, and he's fiddled with it.
He watched like a YouTube Let's Play. He Markiplier
fiddled with it a little bit. Yeah. Oh my god. Although I guess it seems like that dude is like one of the only like olden YouTubers that didn't go Nazi or anything. So like, you know what? Maybe we should come back around on that guy.
I heard he
hasn't turned.
Maybe he's a little. His content isn't
obnoxious,
for us, but
he didn't turn. You know what I mean? So I feel like you get points for that. Keyboard Cat's a racist, so I mean, let's not talk about the B movie script.
I think Paul W.S. Anderson is highly influenced by other.
He makes what he wants to watch. He wants to watch this. You know what I mean?
This movie we're about to talk about, I think this is a pure example of that, where he's like, I don't get this is all set pieces.
I saw this. I
just
like
wanted,
this. It's
I
mine.
wanted to do. Here's set pieces I didn't get to fit in my other movies. We're doing them now.
So here's what this movie does. They went in not knowing what the fuck to do because everyone's dead and everything is gone and there's no setup for any locations or anything. Now this, like, the fourth movie basically had to introduce stuff for that movie, which then they destroy. This movie has to introduce something.
I hate it and also love it at the same time, because it's just like
every ending is like, okay, here's something. Next movie destroys it immediately. This movie is just like the last one. We open up with like following through with the idea we were gonna, and then we kill it. I appreciate the fact that the audacity of just I'm making something else now.
I do appreciate it from that respect, but also as like someone who's trying to like enjoy the series, it's like, just pick something. And
what are we doing?
What are we doing here?
This movie.
I feel bad for all the other characters because they're like, what world do we live in? Do the zombies walk? Do they sprint? Now there's dudes with the T-virus. They can shoot lasers. I don't fucking know. Doesn't matter.
Now there's clones, Devin, of all your friends. This movie opened up being like, or they started this movie being like,
or is it?
I thought Umbrella was a different shape of the logo, and I swear they tilted it for this movie. That's not the point. For this movie, they needed to figure out what to do, and they dig. They dug, they digged, they dug, whatever verb is correct there, past tense, into the well and said, okay, we need to connect this to the older movies because we're going to probably make a last one soon.
What
final
should we bring
chapter,
back? You know what I mean?
What should we bring back from all of these movies? Okay, from the first one, remember when we had that holographic and not all that interesting red girl? Cool, we'll bring her back. What was the second one was cool? Oh, Nemesis was cool. So we're going to have super-powered soldiers. Okay, cool, we'll do that. What was interesting from the third one? What was interesting from the fourth one? All the clones? Okay, we'll do that again. So that's what they just dug and said, okay, let's bring Michelle Rodriguez back. She's a much better actress than she was back then. And she's it is crazy for me to be like, Michelle Rodriguez is one of, if not the best actor in this movie, compared to all the other people. And she doesn't have much to do.
Shout out to her, by the way. But also I can't since we do a chronicle, we've done a Vin Diesel podcast for so long. And of course we've been watching the Fast and Furious movies. So like seeing her, it's just so hard for me to, especially this character where it's just like, it's kind of like, you know, her character.
Who are you?
In Fast and Furious, but like, yeah.
We're going to bring back, I don't remember his name. He was in, Apocalypse, the guy who is the husband in the weird like suburban mom thing.
Yeah,
he was one of the soldier dudes on their team in Apocalypse. He's in here. We got just random, like they just pulled everything in. So the end of the fourth movie, they're on the submarine, and then you see helicopters. They're flying or whatever, and from the helicopter we see this. Yeah. Or yeah, it's a naval ship. Well, I think it went underwater, so it might, whatever. Regardless.
Big boat.
Doesn't matter. The post-credit scene is inside of a helicopter, inter-helicopter. I'm a script now. A badass, in quotes, woman is like, says like, let's go, boys, let's get him, or whatever. And I'm like, oh, they're teasing a new character or something. No, we just haven't seen these movies in forever. That was Jill Valentine.
Yeah.
Because her hair is different. And she's in a weird outfit.
Her outfit sucks, by the way.
She's in like
awful. It just stands out compared to everyone else's. Like, that's one positive I wrote. I said there's some cool ass badass outfits in this. Like Jill's outfits that they make fun of. They're like, oh, what's with the BDSM outfit?
What's with this other woman's outfit then?
Yeah. Hers is just doesn't match. I feel like the vibe of all the other ones. All the other people like have like the some cool body armor and shit or whatever they're wearing, but like
she reminds me of one of those cars that has the paint job that changes depending on the angle and the light.
Oh, like
that's
the
what her
chromatic.
Yeah, that's what her like her bodysuit looks like. And of course, not only do we need to have cleavage in there,
bodysuit.
Sort of. Not only do we need to have cleavage in there, but we need to show the audience that there's that robot spider from the last movie on her chest, not really embedded. You would think that thing would like to be under the skin, seeing how like Umbrella makes biological weapons. They'd probably have an easy way to hide that under the skin.
Or you think they would have a better way of just being that doesn't change?
Put body armor over it. Oh yeah, that right. Yeah, make it permanent. The fact that you can infect people with a virus, you can't infect people with nanomachines. Or just, I don't know, have a clone do it instead of her. You're able to make people and plant them with memories. They already... That's what Michelle Rodriguez's character was. The evil one. That's a clone that they made. And she's a badass soldier. Why couldn't they just kill Jill and make one? You know what I mean? There's weird things in this movie. But I will say, when... the suburban stuff in the beginning, I was like, okay, whatever. She's having a dream or something.
This is where I go back to my point of like, he saw their movies and he's like, I want to do that. That verbatim is exactly like Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead.
Okay.
That opening is it's way too close. Like even like the color palette. I'm like, no. I'm like, is this Dawn of the Dead? Because Dawn of the Dead's better. And Dawn of the Dead is based off the old movie Dawn of the Dead, which I haven't fully seen. I've seen parts of. That was a black and white film, whatever.
Fake black and white movie fan.
Yeah. But like Zack Snyder, that's how it opens. It's like the zombies, like it just happens. They don't explain it. They're just all of a sudden they're running in the street. They get in the car. They're driving. She gets in a car accident, and it happens just like that. And I'm like, no, this is.
Paulie just makes what he likes.
Yeah, he saw Dawn of the Dead. He's like, I want to do the Zack Snyder.
I saw a thing. I make a thing. I like my thing. Moving on. Next one, space. Yeah, what that means pens the ultimate question ever written down on paper. What did Paul W.S. Anderson, is that even his name, his initials, see to make him think, I want to make a Monster Hunter movie like this? The fuck did he see for that movie? But yeah, I didn't really care for it all that much. I'm like, oh, she's having a dream. Okay. And then she'll wake up because they've been experimenting on her or whatever. And no, it's not. And then, but when they go back around and it's like, oh, she's going to be stuck with this kid and Michelle Rodriguez. I'm like, okay, I actually like this.
This was a cool twist. I'll give them that. Like,
I like that.
The whole biomes were all just not simulations, like in terms of a virtual sense. Like they just at a cage.
Like an amusement park.
Yeah.
Get all of the actors in line and let's just see what happens. You know, it's like trying to, simulate weather. There's so many particles around that you do the exact same beginnings and it could happen differently each time, right?
Yeah.
Just because of if individual variables.
And I like
can
that
change.
they brought back the Tokyo scene there.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait,
I love the
maybe
GameStop.
I was giving myself
I love
to
the GameStop sign.
Yeah, and then the Rockstar energy drink.
Yeah.
I don't think there are GameStops in Tokyo.
I think it was
or in
that
Japan.
was New York. That was New York, the New York one.
Okay.
Times Square.
But here's my thing. Now, like the simulation stuff, like that's world building stuff, I guess, and it's interesting. But I'm specifically talking about she is now saddled up with this kid that thinks that she is her mom, and potentially Michelle Rodriguez. Like this is a cool, interesting thing that they don't do anything with. They like yes, the kid gets captured.
I wanted a Michelle versus Michelle fight that never happened,
or her to just see her other self. And then, like, we get some sort of existential, like, the closest we get is Alice and the kid. I forgot what her name was. Becky, I think it was. Something like that. I'm going to call her Becky. They walk through, like, the factory of clones, which is
new. It's new.
Very...
He watched Aliens.
Yes. Yes. Oh, my fucking God. He watched, Aliens.
He's like... He should have...
Okay, does that mean that the final chapter is going to open up like Alien 3 where the kid just dies?
If that happens, then we don't even need to do the review. We'll do a 5-minute episode where we're like, it's Alien 3.
Yeah, I liked Alien 3. It ends like Terminator 2. You're just jumping into the lava to save everyone else. What what was I going to say? The closest we get to the existential "am I a clone" thing is when the two of them are walking through the lineup of clones, right? And she's like, "You're not my mom."
I thought of Monsters Inc. when I'm
the Thors.
Because like the way like they're all in like a conveyor belt.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Like,
Put that thing back. That's also a movie about a kid you need to take somewhere. Paul Thomas Anderson
it wasn't
Pixar.
Aliens actually. It was Monsters Inc.
It was Monsters Inc.
He's like, I really like that movie, Monsters Inc.
I would have enjoyed seeing a take on that existential. I see someone that looks exactly like me. Am I like we get a little bit of that in some shots where Alice looks at clones or hears about clones of herself, and you can maybe infer that she's might be thinking, am I even the real one or not? And I don't remember if that's the case. Because again, they murked all of the clones in the beginning of the last movie. I think they made but she had the virus, and she was the only one that had the superpowers, so we knew it was her. But now she doesn't have those anymore, and you might be able to be like, am I real or am I not? Whatever. But we don't really get much of that. Michelle Rodriguez, nice one, the one that doesn't like war or whatever. You could tell because of her car.
She's supposed to be like running for mayor or something of the town.
She had like her stickers are on the randomest parts of the car. That was definitely just slapdash thrown on there. What does a hippie have on their car? There's one on like the random side.
I like how
on a
Alice
door.
leaves her, by the way, during that first scene where they crash and like
she doesn't even check on her.
Yeah, and she was alive. Like they could have gotten her out, and they're like, no.
Yeah,
I did make notes, by the way, throughout this film, since I know we're not going to do our normal recap. Okay. I did write every time that Rodriguez was back. I'm like, Michelle's back. Oh, Michelle's back again. Michelle.
Nice.
So I'm like, I don't know which Michelle. I just know she is back.
Yeah, they just kill her. And it doesn't have any impact on the story. No one cares. None of our characters care that she dies. Or
even think about it.
Right? So, and then like, okay, yeah, we need mechanically the kid separates Alice from the rest of the people. Cool. But besides that, this movie ends the same way her introduction to her begins. I don't really know much about you. I think I have to take care of you. Nothing between the two of them changes, besides the fact that, oh yeah, our Alice actually also knows sign language. You know, maybe she didn't before.
Why
we didn't
was that
realize.
In there?
Cute. The kid's cute. Signing to a kid and the kid signing back is cute. It was just to make the suburban scene look cuter,
I guess. It just, and then like they never, like she is doing it throughout the film, but she's also like talking kind of normally to make it seem like that it's not, she's not that, I don't know.
I think she was either mute or she has a speech problem and maybe learned sign language first.
It just feel like
and the parents are trying to teach her how to talk by forcing her. You got to say it when you're signing, but maybe I'm reaching there. In any case, it was literally just to make her cuter, make her seem more vulnerable because she has a disability, perhaps of some sort. Of course, it makes you want to protect her even more. But again, like, I'm not asking for the kid to be a MacGuffin or anything special. It's just a kid that thinks you're mom.
The kid could have been a Chaos Emerald.
But like, their relationship does not change. You know, like it's just this movie doesn't do anything with these concepts.
Yeah,
so
also,
it is disappointing
when they see the clones. Like, Alice is in shock, which is fair, but at the same time, like you've seen this before.
Yeah,
like this shouldn't be like that. Like it's a shock, but it shouldn't be like, no way. Like,
they literally did this to you already. It's the same people.
You hung out with a bunch of them and somehow got to Japan, which I still don't know how they got there.
That is a real how all of them too. You know what I mean? It's one thing to find a helicopter.
Did they commandeer a battleship,
a fleet. We got Starfleet.
Yeah.
This movie series, this franchise starts interesting things, kills them. Almost everything within the movie,
within 10 minutes.
Whether it be people or interesting or concepts, one of the movies will begin something, kill most of it off, leave a glimmer of what the next movie can be like. That next movie squashes that immediately, and then repeats the cycle. This movie's doing the exact same shit. This movie is like, okay, we're in the White House. Wesker is not a good guy, but he knows Umbrella is just going to destroy everything. So when you team up, it's the defense. Our final shot is zooming out from the White House as it's surrounded by World War Z zombies. You know what I mean? Just the massive zombies, right?
Which is, when did that movie come out?
Probably in between 2012 and 2017, because 2017 is when Final Chapter comes out. Like this movie ends being like, all right, this is what the next movie is going to be.
2013. But when did the book come out? Because it's based off a book.
Fair. But he doesn't read books. He just watches the movie.
It's 2006, because I remember I had the audiobook version, which is nothing like the movie, by the way.
Right, one of them has pictures and the other doesn't, which is really lame. So I guess we'll just expect to see World War Z. If we see a part where a bunch of zombies make a ladder of themselves to climb over the wall to get to the White House, we know he saw that movie.
A mound, like an ant mound or something.
Yeah.
I think we've been shitting on this movie too much, so I want to give some positives.
I gave the positives, and then the movie shat on it itself. All right,
I will say I did like the intro. I like the slow mo in reverse kind of intro that they did, and I like that.
If I can shit on that a little bit, you know what that reeks of? We spent a lot of money on this scene, on this set that we're not going to use in the movie at all. Let's play it again in reverse to give ourselves extra time.
I like that they played it back, and it was in forward, and it was much quicker. Blah blah blah. But I also felt like this whole movie had an intro that was actually 30 minutes long. Because I remember,
really?
I remember like pausing and being like, okay, the movie's finally starting. Like the plot is starting. Like by the time she finally gets out of her cell, or whatever you want to call it, and we finally get the other people, it's been 30 minutes.
Damn, it is a while, yeah.
Because the slow-mo intro is like 5 minutes.
And then there's a whole bunch of stuff in between us seeing it again.
From the Dawn of the Dead other opening. I feel like there's a couple openings, but I'm saying if you count all that as like this is the start.
Right.
Because we don't know what the plot is until...
No one talks.
We don't know what the plot is until the other group comes saying, we're here to save you.
Yeah. Oh my god, can we talk about it? They finally brought in Leon Kennedy, and he's a dipshit.
Yes.
They finally brought in Leon Kennedy, and he's an asshole.
I liked the other guy. I liked my guy, what's his name? Luther West.
Yeah, who dies.
Yeah, but I liked him more than Leon.
Does he feel like oh, yes, 100%. But here's the funny thing.
And they kill him off. Leon, take one for the team, dog.
Even though the previous movie made $300 million in the box office, they still wanted to assume you never saw it. So Alice doesn't actually talk to him in any meaningful way. There's no acknowledgement that they know each other. How crazy is that?
Or Ada Wong is there, too. We got Ada Wong.
Yeah, she's wearing the red dress because that's the games. Like, everyone, you people, this is Paulie speaking right now. I'm channeling him. You bitches kept complaining I didn't do anything from the game. Fine, here's Ada Wong in her stupid red dress with a single pistol. No, she's not going to use any other guns. This is her style. And we're going to bring Leon Kennedy in. He's got a jacket. He's got kind of the hair. And yeah, I don't know what he sounds like or what he does because I only seen pictures. Here is my Leon Kennedy. That's 100% what he did. Like, fine. I'm going to bring Jill Valentine back, and she's a blonde now. I didn't even know who she was because this was movies ago.
Oh, by the way, I did think, too, the AI little girl or whatever, I forgot what they call her.
Sucked.
Well, I thought they, because at first, some of her lines were very similar to the first movie. I'm like, they did not just recut. They didn't. Later on in the movie, she's saying new shit, and I'm like, okay. But I thought for sure they just this kid's obviously grown up now. We couldn't find another voice actor, so we're just gonna cut chunks out. And I thought for a second, maybe they did at the beginning, it seemed very similar. Like, you're all gonna die down here. I'm like, that's 100% verbatim the same sound clip. Yeah, the same sound clip.
Most likely, yeah. I will say, I mean, I appreciated a lot of the effects and the most of the fighting and gunplay. I enjoyed,
the action was good. She was cool. I think Alice was cooler in this one than a lot of the other ones, to be honest. Like, they actually gave her more
her stances and the way she moves her body makes, I don't want to say makes more sense.
She doesn't have
she
the
seems
force
cooler.
push and all that shit. Like,
also just like her mannerisms, as an actor trying to be an action star feels less awkward. You know what I mean? She feels more confident doing it because it's been a decade since the first one. You know what I mean? This is 2012, first one was 2002, a decade, right? So, and this has been a decade since this movie. Damn.
Also, I like too. We talked about like how he's like just not done things. Remember how we had the theme music in the first one, and we thought it slapped, right? Because like Marilyn Manson worked on it and whatnot. We thought it slapped, right? And they stopped using it. Then they brought it back for like the third one at moments, right? I think it was the third one and the fourth one. Then once again, they have like a whole new soundtrack. I'm like, I just wish they were like consistent or like changed it up a little bit. I do not
like the theme of this movie, not because it's what it is, but because they just play it too often. And sometimes there's some scenes where it doesn't make sense to play it in, or it's like, this is dramatic again.
Song where it was like they haven't found Alice yet, and like they're like rising up on the thing to get out of the elevator, and the music's like, dum, dum, bum, 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 bum. It's like not like intense, like, oh, did she make it? Like, obviously, like, most people will know that she made it, but like there was not even a sense of like urgency. Like, it's like, oh, this whole thing is going down, and it's like and I'm like, what is, like, just, I don't know, just I didn't like that.
Then we have a fist fight on the ice at the end that just is
which
lame.
We had Mortal Kombat X-ray vision.
Yes, it did. It had the bone crunching
out of nowhere, which I'm okay
Kombat
with.
X.
I just thought that was, I was not expecting that. But once again, I don't know. He must have saw something somewhere, and he was like,
they forced him to play a video game, and he played the wrong one. Although X was after this movie, so
yeah, I'm not sure when they had that. I think it was that one. But yeah, it's there's like a bunch of. I'm gonna try to go through my notes now, but yeah, there's things that I will say I actually like this movie though. As much as we're shitting on it, I like this movie more than the last three.
I'm just disappointed. I
like this more than the last three movies because he doesn't give a shit anymore. Like, this is, I think,
I can respect the hustle.
I just think that he didn't have any plot. He had set pieces that he wanted to do. And he's like, I want to bring back New York City. I always wanted to do this scene more. I wanted to put Alice in this scene. Let's do it. Oh, I wanted an Army of the Dead.
What would my wife look like as a suburban mom?
I played Call of Duty. I did Nazi zombies. Let's do that in the Russian section because they're all like World War II like zombies out of nowhere. I have no idea how that's supposed to be a simulated infection when it's just World War II zombies. But I thought those were cool. Like, I thought they were cool that they were there. I feel like he just had set pieces and he wanted to throw them in, and that was what was made first. And then he's like, we need to plot the time all up together. And then the ending, I think that was one thing he did know. He's like, I want to get here somehow.
Yeah.
Because I want this to be the final chapter. I'm honestly watching that, I'm like, I'm not looking forward to the final.
This series sucks.
Yeah, and
I saw that zoom, I'm like, this sucks.
What's funny when they zoomed out too, like, I'm like, they're outmatched, but they act like, okay, we can outlast for a little while. That's what it seemed like, right? Like, yeah, we're in danger, but like, we'll be good for a couple days, right? But like, there is millions, and it's not just regular zombies. There's like gargoyles, like flying shit. I think there was like one of the lickers jumping the wall that they had.
Yeah, because this movie had like the mega licker. You know what I mean? That mega lick going on. What was I gonna say? This movie, like, also Wesker sucks. He's not even cool. He sucks.
He is Agent Smith,
but bad
and not interesting. Yeah,
and he's so self-serious and so cocky, but like with a -2 charisma. I don't know. Like, he just sucks. And this whole movie is just to set up, we're going to undo the thing we started with the last movie, which was take away her powers because it was uninteresting when she had a lot of powers. Now we need her to have a lot of powers. Because
she's going to have to fight 2 million zombies that all know that they're in DC. Which, of course, by the way, the last spot humans are surviving, of course, is the Capitol.
White House. It's the stand. Yeah.
Can American directors stop centering everything to Washington D.C.
What I it's for effect. I understand, and I don't agree with the effect. The self-serious explanation about what's going on in the White House, as so many of Wesker's troops are dying. Helicopters spinning out of control and crashing, people getting eaten and shit. Like, and it isn't just like we're holding down the line, one person goes, and then like a half hour later another. Like, no, it's just a constant. It looked like they were losing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It looked like they were going to die.
And he's all just
going to die within 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And like, by the way, and they just brought her here, right? It's like, I get like they were on they had like 2 hours to get her back, right, or whatever. But like, they made it seem like everywhere else is just zombies.
Right.
Like the
planet is just zombies.
7 billion other people on this planet are zombies.
And the Umbrella Corporation, which we don't even... That's the thing that I don't like. Every time this movie is like, all right, this is what the Umbrella Corporation physically is. We destroy it or whatever. Nope, there's another one. Nope, there's another one. This movie's like, nope, we have an underwater... like biomes of cities, and we're able to continuously do this shit still.
For who?
Who's even a person anymore? Is this going to be like Metal Gear Solid 4 where the bad guys were just AIs the whole time? You never knew that?
It was.
It's just a computer somewhere?
It was the AI that was like controlling everything.
But like, is there any actual people anymore is my question. Who benefits? You know what I mean? It's just the Red Queen. We brought her back from the first movie. In that first movie, she had a practical purpose for the film, and her AI-ness made sense. She has a purpose, a function. When the shit goes down, you contain the virus. That means I need to kill every living creature in here so it dies too. It's just what needs to happen. And I'm going to be a weirdo about it. But I'm going to be a red little girl. I don't need to be. I'm a computer. I'm going to be a red little girl and kill everyone. What's her why? What's she doing? Like, now it's just, she's just a villain.
Yeah, instead of like
the goal?
A neutral character that's a B plot in that movie.
Right, exactly. But what's her goal? What's Umbrella's goal? We still don't know. It's been 5 movies.
Who are they? Like, they're supposed to be a company, and companies sell things and profitize off that. When everyone's dead, who are they profiting off of? Who's funding them?
It's just the thing where they have, it's like when you talk about like, oh, rich people will survive the, apocalypse or whatever. It's because they've already paid for the ways for them to survive. This company has already paid for its world controlness. It just has it. The money doesn't matter anymore in this scenario. They just already own it. They owned it before.
But I'm saying, like, all their goals are like, yeah, we're studying you because we're doing simulations so we can sell to the highest bidder. It's like,
I think that was saying that this was before the outbreak.
Yeah.
They were selling these just before,
like, but why are they still doing them?
100% fair question.
That is like, because it's 100% because they clearly
question.
Put one
because
through
it'd be cool
Alice.
To have our characters run through it.
Exactly, which is fine, and that's why I actually like this movie, because I'm like, it doesn't make any sense, and at this point. At this point, we should expect that. Or the 5th movie.
At this point, 5 out of 6, we finally understand that there's nothing to understand.
Just let it happen.
It's been 40 minutes we've been talking about this damn movie, and it feels like we barely talked about it. There's interesting
cool
things,
scenes.
there's bad things.
They blew up the one set. I thought I made a note saying it must be fun to blow up sets. That's cool. Michelle
brought
Rodriguez
the big boy
gets hit
back
with
from
a
the
fire
last
extinguisher, and then she kills a guy.
Yeah,
that was cool.
She doesn't drown, but the zombies eat her underwater. Which is cool.
Yeah,
I suppose.
There is cool stuff, but it's just action stuff that, like, if you saw the movie, like that, we don't have any issues. And
if you've seen other movies, then you've seen this one
it's
in
fine.
many ways.
There's some cool moments.
It is what it is.
But like, I can't detail the whole fight for you. I don't think it's worth doing. But like, I think our biggest beef is that, like, it's the 5th time in a row, and it just doesn't make sense. They keep killing off the thing that makes, like, honestly, I have no idea what to expect for the next one. It might not even be in fucking DC. That DC shit will be 10 minutes, and it's gonna be like, oh, actually, you're fighting on the moon, and I'll be like, sure.
We can flip a coin to decide if each character that it survives in the end will even show up for the next movie, let alone be there to be killed.
I think.
Will the little girl be in the next movie?
No.
That is a legitimate question you can have. Obviously, she's going to be in there, but considering the track record, she obviously could not.
She won't be. Only one who I think
Jill
will
Valentine
be in there
could just
sure
disappear.
Is Whisker, whatever his name is. Wesker.
But what if he doesn't show up?
He'll die.
All I know about this movie.
10 minutes.
All I know about this movie is the poster art, which is just her. So at least she's in the movie.
Thank
That's
God.
all we know. Yeah, this movie is such a disappointment, but like I enjoyed it.
And so what's funny is I actually like this one more than the last three. I still think the first one's my favorite, and then this one I like just because I like the set pieces and I like the action compared to the other ones. And I also like that he doesn't give a shit anymore. And that no one else, at any point in the making of this movie, was like, nope. And that's fine. I'd rather have a movie just commit to being like, this is an action with like this is an action movie with specific set pieces that we want to show. We have these monsters that we want them to fight.
Yep.
And I'm like, fine.
We paid for this.
I like the whole like, oh, it's the Soviet Union underwater secret base. Cool. That's cool. It's a cool set piece. This plot makes no sense, but that's fine.
I think if I were to rank the movies right now in terms of my enjoyment, it would go 2, 1, 5, 4, 3. So hey, it made the halfway point.
The second one now, in like hindsight, seems so much more grounded and like. Then we had like ridiculous moments. I'm like, oh okay, and like that just
had Nemesis in that movie.
Now that feels so much more grounded compared to where we're at this point.
God, this movie wanted to do the fucking laser grid thing again. Remember? They brought it back and they didn't do anything because she outran it.
Yeah.
Oh, this... Breathe, Ethan. Breathe. This has been a fun episode of the Sonic Movie Show. If we have nothing else to continue, I'd like to remind folks that we are on Twitter at Sonic Movie Show. Devin is on Twitter at CursonaFun, and I am on Twitter at Ethan Absolutely. Swapped it up that time.
Wow.
We're also on TikTok at Sonic Movie Show. We're on a variety of podcast places as well as YouTube. So give us a like and a subscribe and a listen and a 5-star rating.
Review.
I think Audible. Because we're on Amazon Podcast, which is hosted on Audible.
Umbrella. We're on Umbrella Corporation.
You can give ratings on there, I'm pretty sure. So rate us if it's there. I thought only iTunes did that, but I guess Amazon still chasing that 2002 iTunes money. Do all those things. The next movie we're going to see is going to be weirdly different. Very, very, very different. And I'm excited for it because it might actually be extremely wholesome and awesome. Compared to this one, I guarantee.
For some reason, I thought you were talking about the next Resident Evil movie.
No,
like,
no.
How is that going to be? They win in the end. They did it.
Yay!
Alice goes back to doing whatever she did before, which was
work for them.
Union bust.
No. I mean the next video game movie we're going to see in general. But this has been fun. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.